you doing today, my gold mining friends? So today we're going to do a custom build of an a52 sluice box, and we're going to build a custom high banker. We're going to use these two leftover a52 sluice boxes I had laying around, and we're going to put it together and make it multi-use to where it's either electric or gas, it's either long tom or regular length. Now this is going to come out pretty cool, so keep watching and see how this goes. Alright, let's take a look at some of the components I have here. I have a regular a52 sluice, and what I did with this sluice is I added an extension on it and made it a foot longer. As you can see, it's quite a bit longer than your regular sluice box. So I put them together here. You can see how much longer that one is than this one, and that's going to work out way better. Get a little more length. These are a little bit short for a high banker, and you will lose some gold. But I've got a header box ready to go. I've got a nice Joby 2.5 horsepower pump. I've got my hose, and I've got an electric pump, 2200 gallon per hour electric pump to help you get past the regulations. Depending on the area you're in, you can go electric or gas. And I did a little bit of modification on this header box. Now this used to have just a sprayer on one side and it had a sprayer on the other side. And I went ahead and customized it and made sprayers all the way around the whole box so that it sprays in from all directions, the sides and the front. Works a lot better. It helps wash it down the grate right here. And that's going to work out pretty good. So let's get started on the build and keep watching how this turns out. It's going to be pretty cool when I'm done. So let's take a look at a few of the things you're going to need. You're going to need a sluice box of some sort, keene preferably, an a52, which works perfect for those header boxes. And I've got some brackets for the legs, and I've got all my nuts and bolts. I've got some legs, and I've got a sluice box extension adapter, which you can put the two sluice boxes together and have over 7 feet of sluice box. And that'll be great for when you're in the fines and you need some extra length. And so that's about it. Let's get started. Okay, I've got my riffles and screen over here being painted. Nice and clean, all washed up and repainted. It's going to look good when it gets into place. Alright, we're going to start this build with my custom a52 with the extension on it. And that is some gold hog matting I got in there, and that stuff works amazing. It catches everything. You don't even know you have gold because it's all trapped inside there. And until it washes clean, you don't even see it. And that stuff is amazing. Most everything in those gold hog mats don't get past the matting, and so most of it will all be right in the front. So let's get started. Now I gotta take this and see how it lines up, how it matches up. And looks like it's gonna match up perfectly. I've already got all my holes pre-drilled. That's looking pretty good right there. Of course, I'll have to put some silicone in there and seal up some of the holes and some of the cracks, but that's going to work out pretty good. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is put your leg brackets on, because you don't want the leg brackets interfering with your header box. In other words, right here, if you use a regular round-headed bolt, that's going to be sticking out too much. It's going to be rubbing on the side of your box, and you're going to have a big opening right here, and gold and water is going to fly out of it. So what you're going to want to use are these flat-headed bolts. are flat like that, and that won't interfere with your header box when you place it in there. So let's start with those, and I'm just going to, real simple, start mounting up my brackets for my legs. And make sure that you use washers on everything to get it, that way it gets everything good and tight and it sucks it down nicely. So we're just going to do it real quick, rough adjustment. Just throw this on here and get it kind of in place, and I'll go ahead and adjust it later after I get everything in place. Alright, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Alright, I've got my brackets on for my legs on both sides. Now let's see how the header box fits in there. Slides in nicely and the bolts aren't in the way and they're not hitting on it. So that'll work out good. I'll be able to suck that in tight right in through here. Alright, so the next step, start bolting in the header box. Okay, I'm not going to tighten everything up just yet. I'm going to put my bolts in and leave them kind of loose so I can get this thing adjusted how I want to do it. But so far, it's looking pretty good. Everything lines up. All my holes match up. And we'll just keep going. And I like to have the heads of my bolts on the inside and the nut on the outside. So that way nothing interferes with anything going on the inside. Alright, there's one side, one bolt. We'll get our other bolts and washers. Get them in. Okay, we're coming along. Looking pretty good. Make sure you get everything tight. Starting to come around pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Alright, I'm liking that right there. Alright, now that we've got our header box in place, we can start assembling our riffles. Put our carpet in and our riffles in. Now, a lot of people mess up when it comes to their screen right here. Now, there's a certain way that this screen has to go in there. You can't just throw it in there any old way. So, you want the high side, the uphill side of the riffle facing up. So it's just like, that way your screen is the same as your riffles. So your riffles are coming up and going this way, and you got the low pressure area on the back side, and the same way with your screen. It's coming up, you got a high side and a low side, so you got a drop in there and a low pressure area in your screen. So make sure you put that in right. That's going to go in like so. Okay, then your riffles are going to go in. Make sure that's nice and tight, like yay. All right, and then you can button that up. All right, it's starting to look like a sluice box now. What do you think? Starting to look like a high banker. So we'll put some legs on there and get that dialed in. There you go. One Keene A52 high banker mod with extension sluice, made it a foot longer. It's looking pretty good. In a little bit we'll show you how it works. And we'll hook up the electric motor to it and show you how that works. So I'm kind of liking it so far. I got to get in there with some silicone and seal up a few little cracks I got. But this is going to work out really nice. The A52 Keene high banker mod. I'll put a piece of rubber right there so it comes down and it holds the water back a little bit and creates a low pressure area up under the header box. Alright, there's your A52 high banker mod, ready to go, gas or electric. Thanks for watching. All right, I know you're all going to say you wanted to see it run. So this is how it'll do with a 30-foot hose with a 2,200 gallon per hour pump, electric pump, running off my car battery. Now I've got other hoses, flat hoses there up to 50 feet. So you can be anywhere from 50 feet to 30 feet from the river and make this work. All right. Nice. Plenty of flow. There you go, in case you're wondering how it'll work.